You ever notice how they watch everything? Every click, every scroll, every heartbeat through a glowing little screen. They track your face, your words, your thoughts, like puppeteers pulling invisible strings. But here's the funny thing, they missed you. The one who doesn't play by their rules. The one who smiles when the world frowns. They can't predict chaos. They can't attract freedom. So tonight, I'm not here to motivate you to fit in. I'm here to remind you. When they monitor the herd, the real power belongs to the wolf they couldn't find. They're watching, always watching. Not in the shadows anymore, but in the open, right in front of us. Every swipe, every tap, every blink of curiosity is recorded, analyzed, and filed away somewhere in a digital vault that knows you better than you know yourself. Surveillance isn't just cameras on the streets or satellites in the sky. It's woven into the fabric of daily life. It's in the phone resting beside your bed, the apps you scroll through half awake, the ads that whisper exactly what you were just thinking. Every step you take, every word you say, leaves a digital footprint that someone, somewhere, is tracing. What began as a promise of convenience has turned into a silent cage. They call it data collection, but what it really means is control. Your patterns become predictions, and your choices stop being yours. They don't need to chain you when they can guide you with algorithms, nudging you to click, to buy, to believe. It's not just about knowing what you did yesterday, it's about shaping what you'll do tomorrow. Every online purchase, every late-night search, every second you linger on a post is a clue to your mind. They don't need to invade your privacy. They convinced you to hand it over willingly. This constant observation has turned life into a performance. People polish their identities for the lens, forgetting who they are when no one's watching. It's a world where authenticity is traded for approval, and rebellion feels like an error in the system. The most terrifying part, most don't even realize it's happening. The surveillance is invisible, wrapped in smiles and convenience, disguised as progress. But awareness is the crack in their mirror. Once you see the eyes behind the screen, you start to understand the game. You realize that being untracked isn't about vanishing. It's about reclaiming your mind. To move freely in a world of watchers is the ultimate act of rebellion. You stop being predictable, stop being a product. You become a ghost in their system, a glitch in their design. And that's where true freedom begins. Not in escaping their gaze, but in refusing to be defined by it. Most people don't even realize how easily they've surrendered their individuality. They move through life thinking they're making choices, but every decision has already been predicted, measured, and monetized. When everyone follows trends, shares the same filtered smiles, and chases the same validations, the world becomes a loop, a system feeding on repetition. Conformity feels safe, even comforting, but it's the slowest kind of death, the death of self. The danger isn't just that people are being watched. It's that they've accepted being watched. They've mistaken exposure for expression, approval for purpose. They shape their personalities around what gains likes, what fits the narrative, what sells. The result: billions of copies, all thinking they're original. Individuality fades under the glow of screens, where identity becomes a brand, not a belief. The system thrives on this sameness. Predictable people are easy to control, easy to market to, easy to silence. When everyone thinks alike, no one really thinks. True individuality becomes the enemy because it can't be categorized, can't be tracked, can't be used. So society rewards obedience and punishes difference, subtly, silently, with algorithms that decide what you see, what you hear, even what you feel. But there's power in recognizing this illusion. The moment you see that your thoughts have been shaped by forces you never chose, you begin to wake up. You realize that to be unpredictable, to be yourself in a world designed for copies, is the greatest act of rebellion. Real individuality isn't loud or showy. It's silent defiance. It's choosing authenticity when the world sells imitation. It's daring to think your own thoughts, to walk your own path, even when the crowd moves in another direction. When you break from the pattern, they lose control. You become the one variable they can't define, the question they can't answer. That's when you stop being part of their system and start becoming something greater, something real. Because in a world where everyone is being watched, the rarest freedom is not invisibility, it's authenticity. There's always one. The outlier, the glitch in the system, the one who refuses to be tamed. When the world follows orders, this person writes their own. When the masses scroll endlessly, they stop and think. That's the untamed spirit, raw, unpredictable, and dangerously aware. It's the kind of energy that can't be measured, can't be mapped, can't be bought. Society doesn't know what to do with people like that. They can't control them, so they label them crazy, rebellious, unstable. But that's just fear disguised as judgment, because deep down, they know one free mind is more powerful than 1,000 obedient ones. The untamed spirit sees through the illusion. It recognizes that freedom isn't given, it's taken. It's carved out of resistance, forged through questioning everything. You stop living by their scripts, stop moving to their rhythm. You learn to walk your own tempo, even when the world calls it chaos. That's when life stops being a routine and becomes an art. Every decision turns into a declaration. I am not like them, but make no mistake. Being untamed isn't easy. It's lonely, messy, and often misunderstood. The world tries to pull you back into its comfort zones, its rules, its quiet mediocrity. Yet, those who remain unbroken carry a fire inside that no system can extinguish. They thrive in uncertainty, fueled by curiosity and conviction. They find beauty in madness, truth in contradiction, and strength in solitude. You see, the untamed don't want to destroy the system. They just refuse to belong to it. They live by their own code, guided by instinct rather than influence. That's what makes them invisible to the trackers, unpredictable to the algorithms. The system can't analyze what it can't comprehend, and it can't comprehend freedom. So, when everyone else becomes data, the untamed become mystery. When the world demands order, they offer chaos. And in a society obsessed with control, chaos is the purest form of independence. The untamed spirit isn't a rebel without a cause. It's a reminder that in a world of watchers and followers, the rarest and most dangerous thing you can be is free. Chaos. That's the word they fear the most. The moment something doesn't fit their patterns, their systems start to tremble. The world thrives on order, on predictability. They need to know what you'll do next, so they can control the outcome before it even happens. That's why they track record and analyze every fragment of your life. But chaos breaks their rhythm. It's the unknown, the wild spark that can't be coded or contained. And that's where your true power hides, in your unpredictability. When you stop moving like everyone else, the system loses sight of you. Suddenly, you're not a number in their data. You're not a trend. You're a ghost, an anomaly, and they can't fight what they can't forecast. Chaos isn't madness. It's freedom in its purest form. It's the courage to make choices that aren't approved, to take steps no one expected, to speak words that don't fit the script. It's not destruction. It's creation without permission. The powerful understand this. They've always feared those who act without patterns, because unpredictability is rebellion disguised as art. Every empire, every system of control, has fallen not because of brute force, but because someone refused to play by the rules. The unpredictable mind cannot be mapped, cannot be manipulated. It becomes a force of nature. When you embrace chaos, you become untouchable, not because you disappear, but because you no longer fit into their equations. They can predict routine, not originality. They can measure obedience, not passion. You stop being a piece of their puzzle and start becoming the hand that flips the board. Chaos is not insanity. It's clarity in disguise. It's the moment you realize that order was their illusion, designed to keep you quiet. And when that illusion breaks, you see the truth power doesn't belong to those who follow. It belongs to those who dare to surprise. So, laugh when they call you unpredictable. Smile when they label you unstable. Because deep down, they know something you've just begun to understand. Chaos is the sound of freedom echoing through the walls of control. Defiance. It's a word that makes the world uncomfortable, because to defy is to refuse, to stand up when everyone else kneels. Society doesn't like defiance. It teaches obedience dressed up as politeness, conformity disguised as success. You're told to follow the rules, to stay in line, to fit the mold. But every great revolution, every spark of progress, began with someone who simply said, no. That one word, soft, simple, but louder than any scream, has changed more history than 1,000 speeches. Defiance isn't about destruction or rage. It's about choosing your truth over their comfort. It's the strength to walk your path when the crowd jeers, to think your thoughts when the world demands silence. It's not rebellion for rebellion's sake. It's clarity that says, I will not be programmed. You see, they can track your movement, your habits, your pulse, but they can't track your conviction. They can't predict a heart that beats to its own rhythm. The world trains you to obey because obedience is profitable. The moment you stop questioning, you start consuming. You buy what they sell, believe what they feed, and live how they dictate. But when you defy, you interrupt that flow. You become noise in their machine, a glitch they can't fix. They'll try to shame you, to call you difficult, stubborn, or delusional. But that's only because your defiance reminds them of what they gave up. Their freedom. There's beauty in standing alone, in daring to disagree. Real defiance isn't loud, it's steady. It's the quiet refusal to surrender your identity for acceptance. It's the decision to keep your fire burning even when the world pours rain. Because obedience builds systems, but defiance builds souls. And here's the secret they'll never tell you. Every time you say no to control, you say yes to yourself. You reclaim a piece of your humanity, your voice, your will. That's the essence of power. True strength doesn't come from dominating others. It comes from never letting them dominate you. So, let them call you reckless, uncooperative, wild. Smile through it, because defiance isn't weakness. It's proof that your spirit is still alive in a world trying to tame it. Freedom, real freedom, doesn't come from running away. It comes from standing still while the world tries to cage you and refusing to bow. They can monitor your steps, watch your gestures, even listen to your voice, but they will never touch what's inside you unless you hand it over. That's the trick, the illusion that control is power. But control only works on those who believe they can be controlled. The moment you stop believing that lie, the chains fall away. In this digital age, freedom isn't about escaping cameras or deleting apps. It's about protecting the one place they can't reach, your mind. The algorithms can predict habits, not dreams. They can analyze speech, not silence. They can track your moves, but not your motives. The last untraceable space is the human spirit, the raw, unpredictable spark that refuses to be converted into data. That's the power they fear. The kind of power that can't be sold, copied, or programmed. Freedom means thinking your own thoughts in a world built to tell you what to think. It means laughing at the script, rewriting the narrative, and living by your own code. You stop being a pawn in their system and become the player shaping your own game. They might see your shadow, but they'll never know your next move. True freedom isn't found in invisibility. It's found in authenticity. It's the courage to exist as yourself when everything around you demands a version they can control. It's walking through the surveillance with your head high, knowing they can record your face, but never capture your essence. Because freedom isn't about being unseen. It's about being unbroken. And that's the beauty of it. They built a world to track every move, every breath, every heartbeat. But they forgot one thing. You're not just data. You're the glitch, the spark, the soul that refuses to be coded. You are the move they couldn't track, and the freedom they'll never understand.